Hello and welcome to part 5. At this point you have acquired the data you need for your GIS model. You formatted it so it can be imported into the model, and now you need to actually create the GIS model that you're going to use for generating your animation. And in order to do that, you're going to be using the ArcGIS programs. There are a number of ways you can open those. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go to the lower left-hand corner here. I'm going to click on the Start button. I'm going to select all programs, and I'm going to go to the ArcGIS folder here. Click on that, and there are your various component programs that make up ArcGIS. Now, we're going to be primarily using ArcMap 10, but as I mentioned, the data in ArcMap is represented as a series of layers, and if you're doing an animation, those layers need to take the form of a geodatabase. Now the data we got in part 3 is in the form of a shapefile, not a geodatabase. In order to get that into a geodatabase, we need to use ArcCatalog. So I'm going to click on that. Now looking at this, you'll find that it looks very much like a Windows Explorer type software package, and in many ways it behaves like that. I've already created a directory in which to do the work for this project, Info Visualization, and I want to create a geodatabase within that directory. So I'm going to right-click on it, click New, and choose File Geodatabase. And there's our new geodatabase right there. New File Geodatabase is not a particularly descriptive name, so I'm going to rename that. I'm going to go over here, expand this, right-click, and rename. And I'm going to call this GIS _ animation. Now it seems like a good time to emphasize that your path names and your file names for ArcGIS must not have spaces in them. It's acceptable to use underscores but not spaces. Okay, now let's load our data into our newly created geodatabase. So go over here, right-click on the geodatabase, choose Import. For the shapefile, I'm going to use a feature class single, so click on that. And it's going to want to know where to find it, so I click on this folder here. And I go up a level. And I want this shapefile here, so I click on that, click Add. We periodically get this message in ArcGIS. It's kind of irrelevant. It's just kind of a squirrely little thing in the software, so I just click OK. And click in the Output Features class to give this a name. And Countries is a perfectly good name, so I'm going to keep that. And I click OK. Now looking down here towards the bottom margin, towards the right side, we're going to get this little thing here that indicates that it's working. So there we go. Tells us it's doing its thing. And then once it's done, we will get a little message popping up in the lower right-hand corner. And there it is, green check mark. That means it successfully completed its job. So I'm going to X that out. And I'm going to go on to adding in the Excel unemployment data. So I'm going to once again right-click on my geodatabase, select Import. This time I'm going to choose Table, Single. Once again, go up here, click on here. I want this particular Excel sheet. I'm going to click Add. Within there, I want this particular tab. Again, click Add. Get the stupid message again, click OK. Output table, I will call this unemployment data. Once again, using an underscore. And I click OK. Once again, gives a little indication down here that it's working. Then tells us green check mark table to table is done, so we're in good shape. X that out. And that summarizes what I need to do with Arc Catalog, so I'm going to shut it down at this point. And now it is time to create our model in ArcMap. I've got ArcMap on my desktop, so I'm just going to go here and double click on it, and that will bring it up. Now it immediately brings up a number of recent maps that I worked on. I want to start with a new one, so I'm just going to click on New Maps. And blank map is good. I click OK. And I'm going to immediately save this. So I don't want it in that folder, so let me just drill down a little bit to this one. And I will call this, staying consistent with my naming convention, GIS animation.mxd. So if you look now, we'll have a .mxd, that's a ArcMap model, and we've got a .gdb, which is an ArcMap geodatabase. So I'm going to save this. And now I need to add my my shapefile and my unemployment data from the geodatabase. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click on the Add Data button. It's already bringing up my geodatabase, so there it is. I'm going to click on Countries, add it. And again, I'm going to add from my geodatabase the unemployment data, add. I mentioned in the segment on data formatting that you want to make sure your data is in the correct format before importing it into ArcMap. Sometimes you'll forget to do that, so I'm going to show you how to address that now. Let's just quickly check in unemployment data. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to click Open. And as you can see, it's incorporated all the data that was in the Excel spreadsheet. I want to quickly check the year field here, so I'm going to click on this heading, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to check Properties. And looking here under Field Properties, we see that it is interpreted the type as being string, which is not what we want. So now we're going to do something to address that. So I'm going to just get out of here. And I'm now going to go up here to the table options. I'm going to click on this arrow, and I'm going to choose Add Field. I'm going to call that field year_date. And I'm going to make sure I establish up front, using this pull-down menu, that this is supposed to be a date. I click OK. And if we look at the right side now, we find that we now have a field called year_date, but it hasn't been populated yet, so I'm going to click on the heading, then I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose Field Calculator. So it already starts with an equation that says year_date equals, and I'm going to set it equal to the existing field, which was year. So here's year. I double click on that, and year appears down here. And so at this point, all I need to do is click OK. And there the field's been populated. And now let's just check to make sure that it's in the format we want. I'm going to right click on this heading again, check the properties, and in this case type equals date, so we're in good shape. So mission accomplished. So now I'm going to close this down.